Good evening, good evening, good evening. And if you're looking at my face, then you know you put your game face on. I'm Richard DeRazer Ewing. He's Matt None the Wiser Wise. This is another episode. We had a couple of weeks off, had a hiatus, but we're back and we're better than ever. So, Matt, what do we got?
Well, Steph Curry has
Oh,
again.
Wait.
What?
I forgot. I got to go to the questions.
Well, you do.
Yeah, I do.
So get them.
So if you're trying to figure out how to beat that traffic signal so you don't have to stop because you know you're late for work, you're on the wrong podcast. And if you're trying to figure out which picture to hang inside your art gallery for that brand new opening, you're in the wrong podcast. But if you're trying to figure out how to get insight into Bay Area sports, you put your GameFACE on. And if you're trying to figure out how to get an even closer view of sports across the country, once again, you put your GameFACE on. I'm Richard DeRazer Ewing. He's Matt None the Wiser Wise. I'll say it again, Matt. What do we got?
Stephen Curry. That's all that needs to be said. That's all that we need to even mention. We can do a whole show on Stephen Curry breaking the 3-point record and the Warriors getting a win in New York. Against a depleted New York Knicks team, but still getting the win, getting the dub on the road after some flight problems. So, and you got the Niners getting a big win against the Cincinnati Bengals, and they got a good game coming up here against the Atlanta Falcons. So we got that. But before that, you mentioned it. Not only are we back after a couple weeks off, Bet Online is back, and they're better than ever, baby. They got a new web interface for the rest of the NBA season. They have more prop bets, odds, lines than ever before. Bet Online remains your number one spot for all basketball, football action this season. So I encourage you, if you're listening, if you're watching us on YouTube, after you've hit the subscribe button, head on over to betonline.ag. Head to the new updated desktop and mobile website to sign up today and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. All you have to do is use the promo code BLEAV50. That's BLEAV 50 to receive your bonus. Again, from basketball, football, NHL, boxing, UFC, to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the rest of the 2021 season. Bet Online, it's the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports, and it's where the game starts.
Okay, and there you go. So if you think you can muster up the right picks and you think you can cash in, then go to betonline.ag. And I'm glad I don't, because like I said, I couldn't pick them. You know, we got to bring that back too.
Pick them.
Yeah, our picks. We got to bring that back. But to your point, what you were talking about Steph, it was just an amazing evening. That's the word I would use. An amazing evening. I think the biggest that wasn't so positive is that Clay wasn't there. You know, it would have been nice if he would have been there, because we got to be realistic. Clay is a big part of what Steph has been able to do throughout his career. And for him not to be there, you know, it just wasn't the same. But it wasn't.
Well, that's not the only thing that hampered or dampered getting the record. He didn't do it at home. So that was kind of a bummer.
Yeah, well,
Clay not being there, that's another bummer. What the cool kind of thing about it, though, is he did do it in New York. And you know, they say that's the mecca of basketball. That's where basketball gets its roots. I was out there a couple of years ago. I had the choice between going to a Brooklyn Nets game and a New York Knicks game. And I chose Brooklyn Nets. They had the new arena. KD was there. He wasn't playing. Kyrie, they weren't playing, but you could see him sitting. So I chose Brooklyn Nets game over a Knicks game.
Okay, now that's where I would have been different. I would have went to the Knicks game.
The Knicks are garbage. They're
They are
hot
garbage.
garbage.
But this is the thing.
They've been hot garbage since John Starks and Ewing left.
Yeah, but this is the thing though. You have a chance to go through those doors and smell history.
I hear it.
And it's just the history in that building. I think of Willis Reed when he got injured, and then he came back out. Okay, and the Knicks won. I remember. Oh man, Clyde. And I'm not thinking Clyde the guy Drexler. Okay. No, Clyde. I can't think of his name now. Anyway, I think of those guys and what they represent. Of course, Patrick Ewing, John Starks.
No, historic place. Don't get me wrong. Historic place. I walked by it. I mean, it is prestigious. It's it's one of those must sees. I do need to go. I mean, you do have to go watch it. If you're a basketball fan, you got to go watch a game at MSG.
Yeah.
It's just one of those kind of you have to situations. So it is cool that Steph did do it there. It was nice to see, his family, his mom and dad, and Ray Allen, Reggie Miller was there.
Right.
So you had to me, if you want my personal opinion, which who really wants my opinion, but I always give it anyway. The three greatest sharpshooters in NBA history were in one place last night, and that was at the historic Madison Square Garden Arena, and that was Ray Allen, Reggie Miller, and now Stephen Curry.
Yeah, and the thing is, that's an event you're not going to see again.
No,
you're not gonna get those three on the same floor holding up, their jerseys and taking a picture together like that. That's not going to happen again. And you think like this. You think of Stephen Curry and you think of the guys in the game who are considered great. I think of Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Kareem is great. He was great. I mean, look, that's a name people don't talk about enough, in my opinion.
How about Dr. J?
Dr. J. There you go.
Wilt.
Yeah, Wilt is still Chamberlain. But I'm saying the great ones, they do things and have a work ethic that propels them to a level that even they don't see coming until they get there. Okay, and I'm saying when I look at Steph, I remember when he first came into the league and he donned the Warriors jersey and then you had all these critics, just coming out right away from the gun, saying he can't do this, he's too small, then he had injured his ankle, and then they said, look, you could tell he's just not ready, to handle, this big stage. And now, I said this before the show, but I'm gonna say it again. He's put himself in a position where it's like, hey, you know what? You guys just shut up. Don't say another word about what Steph can do. Just shut up. Okay. Because this guy proved you guys wrong time and time again. And I think of the great ones. Kobe did it. Michael did it. Magic Johnson did it. Larry Bird did it. Okay. They all had critics. And yet those critics last night, they had a bowl full of crow.
Not a peep. And as it should be. I think back to some of the, the greatest historic chases I've witnessed in my lifetime. Barry Bonds, the home run, the Barry Bonds home run record, the Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa race.
Wow.
For the record, just like some historic moments in sports history that are records that probably won't be broken in our lifetime.
One time,
I
gotta okay.
There you go. First time ever unanimous MVP.
That's right.
He's just adding. At this point, he's just going to be adding these notches to his illustrious career belt, and just kind of showing to shut everybody up for once and for all, saying, listen, I've done this and this. I mean, what hasn't he accomplished? I mean, he's probably going to be the MVP this year, and he's not even having one of his best years statistically. that he's had in the NBA, and he's probably going to win the MVP because of it. So, we're definitely privileged to be able to watch Steph Curry play basketball and watch these Warriors. And you have to credit the whole organization from top to bottom, because they've surrounded Steph with the right type of players. Steve Kerr's developed a system that is very advantageous to Stefan's skill set. So they've done the right thing, and they're continuing to press the right buttons, because they're having a phenomenal year this year. And they're looking tough. They're looking tough to beat.
Yeah. And I was saying this earlier with you too, is that you get individuals who, they have to deal with the criticism, they have to deal with all these different things. And then they do something that defines what they say, or defines who they are, or defines their place in their sport. And Stephen Curry hitting that shot, that defined who he is.
Well, I'll tell you what he really, really is.
Okay.
He is a diamond in the rough.
Absolutely.
He is a diamond in the rough. And you know what? He is the true, authentic, the real diamond, right? He is the real thing. But guess what? There's a place out there in this world where you can buy the most beautiful diamonds, and they're dirt cheap, and they may or may not be real. They're man-made diamonds, but they're beautiful. You wouldn't know. So Richard, say goodbye. We have a gift here in the Bay Area, Stephen Curry. Well, say goodbye to Dole Gifts and head on over to Lightbox Lab. I knew they have grown.
I knew you were coming with that.
They have grown diamonds that are the brightest gift of the year. They use cutting edge technology and innovative technology. They've cracked the science of sparkle. We're all about science these days. They have cracked the science of sparkle, creating the highest quality lab grown diamonds you can find at a light, and I mean light price. I mean, what do you think it would cost to buy a diamond like Stephen Curry? Gazillion dollars.
Right.
You want to buy a diamond from Lightbox Labs? $800, $800 a carat. That's all it is. They have the same chemical makeup of natural diamonds. You wouldn't know the difference, but are just grown in a lab. Because of their process, they can create stones in blush pink or beautiful blue, as well as a classic white. I'm telling you, Lightbox Labs grown diamonds are the gift that you'll never want to take off, and they're priced so well that you won't have to. They really do make any outfit sparkle. So I encourage you, head over to visit lightboxjewelry.com to add some sparkle to your holiday shopping. That's lightboxjewelry.com. Lightbox diamonds, like Stephen Curry, never a dull moment.
I'll tell you something. You guys watching this, you got to give a props to Matt Nunn-Weiser. He is doing a phenomenal job bringing these promos. I mean, I didn't know you was going to come in like that, but you did.
I'm the segue king, brother.
There you go. So, you know what? I'm going to have to take a look at those myself, because I know I need to get my wife something. And you know how it is when you're married, brother. You always got to come up with something new. Otherwise, you in the doghouse. So, I'm going to check that out. Lightbox Diamonds. There you go.
Lightboxjewelry.com.
There you go. So we're going to, speaking of segues, we're going to switch over to the San Francisco 49ers.
Let's go, baby. This is the playoff push right here. This is the moment. This is where the men are separated from the boys.
But this is the thing. Before we get into that deep, and we are, I just want to point a few minutes to what happened on Monday Night Football between two division leaders in the Niners, conference, the NFC West. You had the Rams and Arizona. Now, Arizona clearly is at top, okay? But the Rams are knocking at the door, okay? And I watched the game, and it was close, okay? But the thing that bothered me, the one play in the game that bothered me, is that I'm watching this, and it's 30-10. I think it was like 5 minutes and 6 seconds left in the game, okay? And Cliff Kingsbury, the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, I think it was like a I want to say might have been a 4th and 3, and I may be wrong. But instead of kicking the field goal, he goes for it. He goes for it. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Dude, take the points, kick the field goal. But he doesn't. He goes for it. And the Rams snuff it out because Aaron Donald's Aaron Donald. So, okay, so that now, what did you do? You put the ball in the hands of the Rams. You don't get any points. And you're still down by 10 points. And I'm thinking, okay, I want to say that, Kingsbury's probably a rookie coach, but I can't see him as a rookie coach anymore because he's been there for almost 4 seasons. So I'm just like, dude, what made you think that you should not kick the field goal? Okay.
And well, I'll tell these kickers ain't loyal. These kickers this year are just atrocious. They can't. I mean, you could widen those posts, and they're not going to kick it. I think analytics is driving a lot of it, and it's telling a lot of these coaches, listen, percentages wise, you have a better chance going for it than kicking a field goal here. And in some, because I saw that call at least another 1 or 2 other times on Sunday where you could have, taken points. It may have been a long field goal, but you could have taken points and they decided to go for it. In fact, I think the genius Belichick did it with the Patriots this last week. So it's kind of becoming a trend.
But it doesn't, this is the problem I have with it though. The problem I have with it is this. And I'm not talking about Belichick or anybody else. I'm talking about this specific game. Okay. We're talking about a whole night. Okay. Well, the Rams defense has just been harboring everything you're trying to do offensively. That's why you're down 10 points. Okay. And so you got Aaron Donald. Look, we already know Aaron Donald is the refrigerator. Okay. He brings it every single night. It's like, I'm sorry. I'm not on board with you doing that. I'm really not. Especially because you could not stop Aaron Donald from putting hands on Kyler Murray the entire night. You couldn't. Okay. And it was evident because in the fourth quarter, there's a little over 5 minutes left. You're on a 4th and 3, and he's hammered you already. So I got a problem with you making that decision. If I'm the coach, no. You kick the field goal, you take the points. You kick the field goal, you make it. Now you're only down by 7. And there's still 4 minutes and 30 seconds left. Instead, you make that decision, you're down by 10, and guess what? There's still 4 minutes and 30 seconds left.
Well, I'm going to say Rams remind me a lot of the 49ers. If their D line is dominant, the Rams or the Niners are going to win a game. If their defensive line is dominant, we saw that against Cincinnati with the Niners. The D line looked good. They were getting pressure. They were getting hurries from the quarterback. They were getting sacks, and they won that game. And the Rams, I think, are the same thing. I don't think offensively they have a problem necessarily. I think some people would beg to differ. They go out and get OBJ. Someone say they're desperate. But I don't think that was – look at what they did. They bolstered up their defense. They went and got Von Miller defense so that they can kind of beef up that linebacker.
I want to wait a few more games on Von Miller. Okay, and the reason being because Von Miller's not a young guy, so I want to wait.
He was doing some disrupting back there.
Well, yeah,
and also doing it in the number 40, which to me is not a linebacker number.
Okay, but this is the thing I want to say. Von Miller's football IQ is not in question. Okay, Von Miller's health is in question. Okay, when you play as long as Von Miller's been playing, had the experience you have, Father Time starts to eat at you, okay? And I'm saying right now, don't get me wrong. I'm not questioning Von Miller's ability to play the game. I know he knows the game. I'm saying they got some games left to be played yet, and I want to see if he can keep up with his stamina because we saw what happened with Uncle Sherm. He was able to go through a season, but then after that, he was like, okay, all right, Father Time caught up with him, okay? And so I get why they signed him because he's Von Miller. That's the reason why Niners signed Richard Sherman because he's Richard Sherman. But we got to be honest, the long-term effect of that signing didn't pan out well. Okay. The short-term did.
We'll see. Season's not over. And
No, it's not.
this is the push right now. And you beat the Cardinals, you put yourself in a pretty good position.
Yeah, they're one game back of the Cardinals right now, and Von Miller played like Von Miller. So right now, it's good. And we're all waiting to see what happens. When we get back to the Niner game against Cincinnati, and I tell you something, Joe Burrow showed me some things. He did. He showed me some things. I was impressed. This kid can play. Big throws when needed them. Competed down to the end. But my whole deal is this: is that my focus really was on DeMeco Ryans and his defense, because one thing I've said about DeMeco Ryans in the Niners defense is that their biggest hurdle right now is they have to stop teams from scoring on them. Okay, that's their biggest issue. Okay, if they can stop teams from scoring on them, they're going to win games. And right now, I look at their defense, I think, okay, they're showing signs of life. Okay, it's particularly in the Cincinnati game. That's what I saw. I saw signs of life. But he made decisions to put a rookie in Emory Thomas. That didn't pan out too well. It just so happened the offense was clicking that night. And I did this earlier when I was talking. I'm gonna do it again. I'm sorry. I got to give Brandon Ayuk his props, man. This guy, when he first came in the league, high praise from former coaches like Herm Edwards up at Arizona State, and just his peers. Had a big year when he first got there. This year, not so much, and everybody's trying to figure out what's going on with this guy. Why can't he display talent that he has? And then come to find out it's leaked that, hey, him and Kyle have an issue. Okay. So TJ Huzmanzada, who is one of the receiver coaches and advisors for the 49ers.
Ex-Cincinnati Bengal receiver.
Right. Former Cincinnati Bengal receiver. Related what was really going on with him. And so ever since him and Ayuk have sat down and discussed things, and they've ran things through Kyle, apparently the rift is been smoothed out, and this is the reason why we're seeing better play from Brandon. Now, you alluded earlier when we talked about this. You said that with him doing that, that makes him a viable third threat. Okay, and you know what? You're absolutely correct. And for Niner fans, that's what we want to see. We want to see a viable third threat, because we got to be realistic. If you just got Samuel and Kittle, if they key in on those guys, then your offense is just a running game. And the running game has had to do with injuries and whatnot. So I'm just saying, for him to make that catch the way he did, that was a big time catch at a big time moment in a big time game, and it was in overtime.
No, huge. And Niners needed that win. And, Jimmy, and we bag on Jimmy, we call him a game manager, but Jimmy did a couple things in that game that we have to credit him for. Is he got him down the field to kick the game-winning field goal. Now, again, we talked about these kickers ain't loyal, and they're not hitting anything, and unfortunately, Goal missed it. But Jimmy drove him down there and got him in position for the win.
Right.
And then Jimmy drove him down there in overtime and got him a touchdown for the win. And so you got to credit, you definitely got to give Jimmy credit. Yeah. What you also have is with Shanny, who is the king of just multiple distractions, multiple options. You now have with Ayuk, you got Debo, who's now playing this wide receiver / halfback role. You got Ayuk on the outside. Now you're getting Kittle involved. So you're seeing their targets and catches go up. Debo's catches and targets have come down, but he's running the ball a little more. But now it gives Shanahan all kinds of options to work off of those three, right? And you haven't even mixed in Juszczyk, Juwan Jennings, who had a huge catch Sunday, and played some great ball. So I mean, you haven't even you got factored in those guys so you can work into it. So it's really exciting offensively. I'm more excited than I have been recently in the season, because offensively it looks like they're starting to kind of put some things together. So that's exciting. And the defense is playing. I think they're playing really, really well. But Cincinnati's, I mean, they've been scoring points on teams, especially in their wins. They're scoring 41 points, 37 points, 38 points, whatever it was. So they score points, and you held them to 23 points. And the Niners shut them out the first half, and kept them quiet, kept that offense quiet. So that was impressive. So I'm really, really encouraged, and I'm super stoked to actually go see the game in person, see against the Atlanta Falcons.
Well, this is the other part of it. The other part of it is you're going to have a defense that is going to be ready too, because I think, and I may be wrong, I think that Drake Greenlaw is coming back. Okay.
Getting a little healthier.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's something that the defense will definitely use. There's another player, I'm trying to remember who, that was on injured reserve as well, and he's coming back too. I may have to look that up. But
defensive back, you're right. He was out a couple weeks. He'll be coming back, so that will bolster up the defensive backfield for the Niners. So, and they need help there. What I saw that I haven't seen. I'm seeing it, more teams go to it, but is a 2 linebacker system, 4 down linemen, 2 linebackers, and then a crap load of DBs.
Right, and it's actually working in the league right now. It's definitely working. I've seen it, and I was actually pretty impressed with it. But I think also that when you have, defensive back like Fred Warner, who has the ability, to really just, take out, offensive running backs, key in on receivers when it's time. It allows the defense to be able to be cohesive. I think also that when you have the second linebacker, that allows Fred to be more movable. He can basically move and run around a little more. I saw him on both sides of the field in that last game. I couldn't believe it. He's so fast. I could not believe how fast he is. I was like, wow, this dude can move. And don't get me wrong, I've always been very impressed with Fred Warner. But when I saw him in this last game, I was like, man, I was like, this dude, he can move. He's fast.
He can plug, and he plugs a hole, man.
Yeah.
He plugged a few holes. Reminds me of Oklahoma drills. Like he was running Oklahoma out there.
Yeah.
On some suckers. So Fred Warner, I mean, the linebackers, you can't. They do their thing. That D line, they were getting after it. The DBs get healthier. Let's get some more experience. I mean, what was it? The rookie DB got burned once, a couple times.
You come on Emory Thomas?
Yeah.
But then that's what I'm saying. D'Amico Ryan's, decision to put him in was like, well, I get it. He needs some reps. I get that.
Well, it was him or Lenore, and Lenore got roasted the game before. So
yeah.
You just kind of you see what you got, and you move it around if it's not working, and see what happens.
Yeah. So the run game was really not Shanahan's run game, and I think that has to do with the fact that they, like you said, they're offshooting a lot of different guys. They got Samuel doing both, but they had like 100 yards total in team yards and rushing. But that was a combination of all the runners. Even Brandon Ayuk got in on the game. He only had 1 carry for 4 yards. But Garoppolo, not a bad game. I mean, 27 to 41, 296 yards. He averaged 7.2 yards per throw, 2 TDs, and ready for this? No interceptions.
And a quarterback rating of 103.
Yeah.
If that means anything to you.
Yeah.
To me, it does, because you look at playing Madden online, you're like, dude, this guy's a 99. He's a beast. So, I mean, ratings do kind of help. But yeah, I mean, he had a very efficient game. And he looked comfortable, and he made some throws, and he made some really great throws that protected his receivers. And then he made some throws that really left his receivers vulnerable, or made his receivers make some just miraculous catches. So
yeah, there was definitely some risky throws by him. And I think with Jimmy is to be expected.
Yeah.
He's going to try things that most quarterbacks wouldn't try. But that's what makes him who he is. I think one of the things that definitely going to hurt him, Al Shahir, who the last 2.5 weeks has been, in my opinion, stepping up to the plate when it comes to playing defense. I think he's been very, very extraordinary playing defense. He had 11 total tackles and 8 solo tackles. He had a sack, but he also left the game injured. So, I mean, I don't really know to what degree the injury, is going to set him back. Hopefully not back too far. Hopefully he'll be able to come back. But I'm actually very impressed with him week in and week out. He seems very, very astute about the game. Seems to be following DeMeco Ryans' game plan. And I'd like to see him not totally set out another game. Hopefully he can recoup before the next one, because he brings speed and he also brings ball awareness. That's one thing I notice about him. He knows where the ball is at all times. And you watch that develop from week to week and you think, okay, you know what? These are the guys you need to have on the field. So,
well, here's a guy that needs to be on the field, and maybe he even needs to play offense. Nick Bosa, 14 sacks so far this season. His rookie year, he had 9 sacks. So, he's
talk about a guy that came back from an ACL tear and playing lights out defense right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why they don't tap him for comeback player of the year.
Hey man, like, how many more sacks does this man need?
Yeah, it's like, look, in the NFL, you just hand him the award. Just give it to him. Okay, I mean, come on, dude. He had an ACL tear, dude. ACL.
And that's it. I mean, we're talking about Donald and taking over the game. Like, Bosa's got that same ability,
right?
And he's, I don't even think he's fully there and back yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go because we're over. But I hope you do like I do. Take your hat off to Steph. Okay, because Steph is what he did last night. That was just amazing.
Yep.
But this is GameFACE. I'm Richard the Rez Ewing. He's Matt None the Wiser Wise. Bay Area Sports Magnified.